Greek mythology is filled with tales of monstrous creatures, epic battles, courageous heroes, and vengeful gods, all of which resulted in gruesome and terrible punishments. Even being a king in ancient Greece did not grant exemption from punishment. Many of these stories involve kings who dared to defy their limits and displayed excessive pride. King Ixion serves as a prime example of why it is wise to stay on Zeus's good side. When Ixion married his wife, he promised a generous gift, known as the bride price, to his father-in-law. However, after the marriage, Ixion reneged on his promise and refused to pay. To settle the score, Ixion stole some horses from his father-in-law. Yet, Ixion would not let his father-in-law have the final say. He plotted his revenge and invited his father-in-law to a feast. When the father-in-law arrived, Ixion callously pushed him into a pit of burning coals, murdering him. In ancient Greece, killing a guest was considered one of the most heinous crimes. Consequently, Ixion was exiled by the neighboring kings, who refused to absolve him of his crime. He was left to wander alone, and eventually, the solitude drove him to madness. Surprisingly, it was Zeus who took pity on Ixion and invited him to a feast with the gods. Instead of showing gratitude, Ixion developed an insatiable lust for Zeus's wife, Hera. In response to this betrayal, Zeus created a cloud in the likeness of Hera and deceived Ixion into impregnating it. Witnessing this treachery, Zeus punished Ixion by striking him down with a lightning bolt. Hermes was then tasked with binding Ixion to a burning wheel, perpetually spinning across the heavens. Another king who faced the wrath of the gods was Tantalus. He, too, disregarded the hospitality shown by Zeus. Tantalus chose to steal ambrosia and nectar, the divine food and drink, to bring back to his people. He also shared some of the gods' secrets. In an attempt to repay the gods for their hospitality, Tantalus invited them to a feast of his own. He wanted to test if the stories about the gods' omniscience were true, particularly their ability to discern forbidden food. Tantalus went to the extreme of killing his own son and serving him as a meal to the gods. However, this plan failed, as all the gods, except Demeter, sensed that something was amiss with the meal. Demeter, preoccupied with the disappearance of her daughter, Persephone, paid little attention and unknowingly consumed the boy's shoulder. When the truth was revealed, the gods were furious. Zeus commanded the Fates to restore the boy's life by boiling and reassembling his body parts. Hephaestus crafted an ivory shoulder to replace the missing one. Zeus then turned his attention to Tantalus, who deserved severe punishment. Tantalus was placed in a pool of water beneath fruit-laden branches. Each time he reached for the fruit, the branches would elude his grasp. Similarly, when he attempted to drink the water, it receded just beyond his reach. Tantalus was granted immortality but cursed with eternal hunger and unquenchable thirst, a perpetual reminder of the perils of temptation. The punishment of eternal hunger appears again with King Erysichthon, who committed crimes against nature. Erysichthon ordered the felling of all the trees in a sacred grove belonging to the goddess Demeter. In doing so, he killed a nymph who cursed him with insatiable hunger. Demeter summoned Limos, the spirit and goddess of starvation, who dwelled within Erysichthon's stomach. From that point on, Erysichthon experienced an unending hunger. No matter how much he ate, the hunger only grew, forcing him to sell all his possessions to buy more food. Eventually, with no money or food left, Erysichthon resorted to devouring himself. This punishment served as a reminder of the consequences of disrespecting nature. Kings, being the custodians of power and knowledge, often found themselves tempted to reveal secrets. King Sisyphus disclosed the location of a nymph whom Zeus had hidden from her father. As punishment, Zeus ordered Thanatos, the personification of death, to chain Sisyphus in Tartarus. However, Sisyphus cunningly tricked Thanatos by requesting a demonstration of the magical chains. In this moment of vulnerability, Sisyphus captured Thanatos, rendering him unable to fulfill his duty of causing death. This led to a chaotic situation on Earth, where no one could die, frustrating Ars, the god of war. Ars eventually freed Thanatos, and Sisyphus was condemned to an eternity of pushing a massive boulder up a hill in the underworld. The boulder would perpetually roll back down each time it neared the top. The true torment for Sisyphus was not the physical strain but the futility of his actions. His futile task represented his belief that he could challenge or outsmart the gods, ultimately resulting in his own descent into madness. Lastly, King Minos suffered a rather peculiar punishment. When Minos claimed the throne, he prayed to Poseidon, the god of the sea, for a sign of his legitimacy. Poseidon sent forth a magnificent white bull from the ocean as a token of favor. Minos was supposed to sacrifice the bull in Poseidon's honor. However, Minos grew fond of the bull and sacrificed another in its place. This act of defiance angered Poseidon, who decided to punish Minos through his wife, Pasiphae. Poseidon cursed her with an uncontrollable passion for the bull. The infatuation became so intense that she had the inventor Daedalus create a wooden cow in which she could hide and mate with the bull. As a result of their union, she gave birth to the Minotaur, a half-human, half-bull creature that plagued the island of Crete. Transformation and metamorphosis are common themes in Greek mythology punishments. Many individuals were altered into animals or grotesque beings as a form of retribution. Medusa, for example, is a widely known example. However, the concept of transformation as a punishment remains contentious. In conclusion, Greek mythology showcases a multitude of punishments inflicted upon kings who dared to challenge the gods or commit heinous acts. From eternal torments to insatiable hunger, these punishments served as reminders of the consequences of hubris and disobedience. The stories reflect the ancient Greek belief in divine justice and the idea that even the mightiest rulers are subject to the wrath of the gods. In Ovid's Metamorphoses, there are different versions of the story regarding Athena's transformation of Medusa. According to the Roman version, Athena transformed Medusa into a monstrous creature with a snake for a head as a punishment for defiling her temple. However, there are alternative versions where Athena transformed Medusa into a gorgon to provide her with the means to protect herself. Another common belief is that Medusa was born a gorgon, which presents a similar approach to Athena's involvement. Another tale involving transformation is the story of Arachne, a talented weaver who competed against Athena. Arachne created a tapestry that was deemed disrespectful to the gods, and in Ovid's Metamorphoses, Athena defended her father's honor by humiliating and beating Arachne, causing her tapestries to lose their value. Faced with this humiliation, Arachne chose to end her own life, prompting Athena to transform her into a spider, a warning against hubris. In an alternative version, Zeus himself takes offense to Arachne's tapestry and forbids her from ever weaving again. When she takes her life, Athena transforms her into the first spider, allowing her to continue creating beautiful tapestries in the form of spider webs. These stories offer different perspectives, where the transformations can be seen as either punishments or gifts, with neither interpretation being inherently wrong. The story of Lamia, an originally Libyan queen, involves a tragic love affair with Zeus. When Hera discovered their relationship, she tricked Lamia into consuming her own children, driving her to madness. Eventually, Lamia was transformed into a restless monster. However, there is another version of the story where Zeus himself carries out the transformation, enabling Lamia to seek revenge against those who exiled her and took away her crown. There are additional examples of transfiguration and metamorphosis that are less ambiguous. For instance, Actaeon, a hunter, encountered Artemis while she was bathing. Silenced by Artemis, Actaeon was warned not to utter another sound, or he would be transformed into a stag. However, upon hearing the sound of his own hunting dogs, he called out to silence them, unknowingly cursing himself. As he tried to escape his fate, Actaeon ran through the forest, but it was too late, the transformation process was already underway. Ironically, once fully transformed, he was hunted down and torn apart by his own hunting dogs, whom he had trained for that very purpose. Similarly, in another story, a boy named Cypriote stumbled upon Artemis bathing in the woods. Presented with a choice, he had to either be transformed into a girl or face death. Naturally, Cypriote chose to avoid death and became one of Artemis's followers. There are other notable victims of transfiguration worth mentioning, such as Helios, a young man who challenged Aphrodite in a beauty contest and lost, resulting in his transformation into a shark. Additionally, there is Calliope, a nymph whom Hermes transformed into a tortoise for her laziness in attending the wedding of Zeus and Hera. Out of the punishments discussed, it's subjective to determine which was the worst. There are certainly many other transformations and punishments that haven't been covered here. If you believe any of those are noteworthy, feel free to share them in the comments section. This content is made possible by sponsors like the Great Courses Plus, a subscription service that offers a wide range of lectures, courses, and documentaries taught by Ivy League professors and other fascinating individuals. Their catalog covers topics spanning finance, fitness, food, travel, history, philosophy, science, and literature, ensuring there's something to suit everyone's interests. Whether you prefer streaming from your TV, tablet, laptop, or phone, the Great Courses Plus provides a productive and educational alternative to binge-watching TV shows. If you're passionate about Greek mythology and ancient religions, I recommend trying the Pagan World course. Start your free trial today by visiting thegreatcoursesplus.com/mythology or simply clicking the link in the description. Give it a try and let me know if you discover anything particularly interesting.